Hello there! I hope you enjoy this video and that you subscribe to the channel. Enjoy watching it. Let's go! The ball flew past Mr. Lee very quickly, almost hitting him. He wasn't expecting that. It turned out that it was Da-Woo who kicked the ball, and through his carelessness almost hit Mr. Lee's face with the ball. He'd apologized for the incident and said he would aim better next time. He asked if he scared Mr. Lee. He apologized again. He and his friend decided to go on playing with the ball. Mr. Lee did not say a word in response and just stood silently watching. Apparently, he was puzzled about something and didn't care at all about what had just happened on the playground. On the soccer field, the guys are playing ball, and Si-hong and Ra-Nee are sitting on the steps. Ra-Nee thinks Da-Woo is good even at soccer. They wondered if Da-Woo and Mr. Lee play on different teams. Si-hong and Ra-Nee don't understand why Da-Woo and Mr. Lee chose soccer. They feel like it's like some kind of teenage drama. Ra-Nee heard earlier that Da-Woo himself asked Mr. Lee to play soccer. The strange thing is, are they that close already? The important thing to consider is that Mr. Lee only teaches sophomores. Then what happened between them? Ra-Nee was surprised that Si-hong really doesn't understand why on earth Da-Woo wanted this match. Ra-Nee said with a slight smirk that this match was necessary to punish. Si-hong doesn't understand what Ra-Nee is talking about. The thing is, that morning when Si-hoon ran away, Da-Woo asked Ra-Nee about what had happened, and she just told him everything in detail. Oh, at that moment, Da-Woo was ready as if to roast someone to a crisp. Si-hoon remarked that Ra-Nee doesn't know Da-Woo at all, since he's usually not like that. Ra-Nee is shocked that she now understands everything. Oh my gosh! She thinks that Da-Woo is in love with Si-hoon. Si-hoon immediately began to deny this information, but Ra-Nee is 100% sure that it's true. She also added that if it wasn't Si-hong, she wouldn't have given Da-Woo up for anything. But since it's just Si-hong, Ra-Nee is ready to give up. Si-hoon seems to think that Ra-Nee is talking nonsense, and at that very moment, it's as if Ra-Nee was electrocuted again. She noted Da-Woo's incredible punch, but the ball went straight into Mr. Lee's face. Unbelievable. What's happening on the soccer field right now? Whoa! Mr. Lee swung slightly, and the ball flew into the soccer goal. Da-Woo's team is happy to have scored a goal. Ra-Nee didn't expect Mr. Lee to get hit in the face with the ball. Mr. Lee seems to be in a little pain. Blood began to drip from his nose. Da-Woo ran up to Mr. Lee and asked if he was okay. He thought Mr. Lee could dodge the ball. He was really sorry about what happened. Mr. Lee thought Da-Woo did it on purpose. Da-Woo was surprised and asked Mr. Lee, "So why would I do that?" Of course he didn't do it on purpose, but Mr. Lee remarked that he must have realized when Da-Woo kept kicking the ball in his direction the whole time. Mr. Lee remembered that Da-Woo is the guy who comes to school in the mornings with Si-hong. He thinks it's because of her. He started to make claims about why Da-Woo was doing all this. What is it for? But Da-Woo doesn't understand what Mr. Lee is talking about. Da-Woo asks Mr. Lee if he has done something bad to Si-hong. He replied that no, he didn't do anything wrong. But a fool who takes advantage of students to pull something off can't be a teacher. Mr. Lee didn't expect Da-Woo to call them a fool and was very indignant. But Da-Woo was surprised that Mr. Lee could be offended by it. Mr. Lee grabbed Da-Woo by the shirt. Da-Woo asked if Mr. Lee was sure he wanted to do that, since there is a crowd of students at the school looking at them right now. They don't understand what just happened between Da-Woo and Mr. Lee, but they are actively whispering. Da-Woo has noticed that now it looks like Mr. Lee is like a pathetic loser, angry at Da-Woo because he lost in a soccer game. A classmate ran up to Da-Woo and wondered what had happened. Mr. Lee quickly began to say that nothing had happened. At that moment, Da-Woo turned to the guys. He decided to lie a little and teach Mr. Lee a lesson. He announced to the whole crowd that since Mr. Lee lost, he would buy everyone a burger. Everyone got excited and said that Mr. Lee was the best. They wondered where the burgers would be ordered from. Da-Woo answered that Mr. Lee would order from Burger Queen. The thing is, Burger Queen has very expensive burgers, so Mr. Lee will have to splurge. Mr. Lee is not happy with what Da-Woo is doing now, but Da-Woo decides that he still needs to call the other students of the school. The whole crowd began to say their wishes for Mr. Lee to order from Burger Queen. Someone shouted out that it was necessary to order before lunch break was over. Oh, it seems Mr. Lee will now spend his entire monthly salary on this. Ra-ni didn't expect Mr. Lee to be so generous. Zi-hong quietly confirmed Ra-ni's words. Dae-woo is glad that he got to teach Mr. Lee a lesson. Si-hong is watching Dae-woo think about something. Hee-won walks down the school corridor. You can tell from her face that she's nervous for some reason. She is face to face with the school principal. The principal did not expect Miss Jung to come to school so early today. He wished her a good day. Hee-won also wished the principal a good day. They both bowed and separated. And then the nasty grumpy teacher follows the principal down the school corridor. They also both bowed and said good morning to each other. Since he knows whose girlfriend Miss Jung is, he apologized to her for hurting her feelings and saying a lot of stupid things. He will try to be more careful in the future. Haha, they bowed again and went their separate ways. Hee-won opens the door from the audience. She enters, and there is silence all around. She is even surprised. She sighed and thought that she knew this would happen. She is very uncomfortable, a very strange feeling. It's like everyone around her is tiptoeing around her. After all, it's been a few days, but still no one can act normal. Everyone knows that Hee-won is getting married to the chairman. She feels lonely again, just like when there were rumors all over the school. A colleague of hers came up to her. With a smile on her face, she said hello to Hee-won. She asked Hee-won to have dinner with her, if Hee-won had any free time, of course. A colleague asked what Hee-won wanted to eat. She also asked if she was getting morning sickness. She apologized that maybe she shouldn't have asked that. Hee-won replied that it was okay. Hee-won said that her pregnancy was going well, and that she has no toxicosis. Hee-won thanked Miss Kim, but she didn't understand why. Hee-won added, "Thank you for everything." Miss Kim thinks that people can be stupid sometimes, and no matter what happens, Hee-won is still the same person. She also said that she kept tiptoeing around Hee-won. But then Miss Kim realized that she had been acting foolishly and asked for forgiveness for that. Hee-won replied that it was okay, and she was actually having a hard time accepting it all herself, so she could imagine how everyone else felt. Miss Kim remarked that Hee-won is too kind. She doesn't understand how she could have doubted whether or not to approach Hee-won. She asked what Hee-won wanted to eat for lunch, since she wants to know all the details of Hee-won's relationship. But Hee-won said that there was basically nothing to talk about. Hee-won's phone rang. Do-jun Kang called, but she just signed it Daddy Do-jula. He said he was ready to pick up Hee-won around 6 p.m. Do-jun added that Hee-won shouldn't worry. He will meet her in front of the school. That was the end of their dialogue on the phone. Miss Kim became very curious about who it was that called. She asked Hee-won, "Was it Chairman Kang?" She answered yes. Miss Kim noticed that Hee-won was too cold on the phone with Chairman Kang. She thought it was because she was around. Miss Kim knows that Hee-won doesn't like to be cute, but she expected to hear at least beloved or something like that. Hee-won thought it looked like she might have to postpone tonight's dinner with Miss Kim. She was so excited to start communicating with Miss Kim again that she had completely forgotten about her plans for tonight. Miss Kim asked her to stop worrying about it and that they could have dinner when Hee-won was free. Miss Kim inquired that Hee-won seemed to be going somewhere with Do-jung. She replied, yes, adding that she was very jealous of Hee-won. Yes, but there's a but. Hee-won is already riding in the car with Do-jung. There is complete silence in the car. She turned to Do-jun, and once again she turned to him. But Do-jun did not immediately react as he was focused on driving. Hee-won wondered what Do-jun's father was like. What kind of man is he? What is his personality like? What does he like? Hee-won isn't trying to win him over at all, as a good daughter-in-law. But she thinks it would be nice to leave a good first impression of herself. But Do-jun says that Hee-won shouldn't worry about his parents. He thought that Hee-won had something going on and was uncomfortable. She replied that everything was fine. She ponders that it comes out that Do-jun's mother will also be there and that she should have expected it. Hee-won never imagined that she would ever meet President Dad Han Group. She was so excited about meeting him that she forgot about Do-jun's mother altogether. She is very curious about Do-jun's parents. She realizes that they are very rich people and whether they will be able to love someone like Hee-won. Hee-won is all reminiscent of some TV show she used to watch, where the son brought his girlfriend to his parents' house. But the mother was against it, saying that she was not worthy of her son and asked her to get rid of her. Afterwards, the mother threw an envelope of money in the girl's direction, and the father declared that he refused to acknowledge the child and asked her to take the money and disappear from their lives. After these performances in her head, Hee-won began to get 1,000 times more nervous. She worries about what will happen to their child Do-July. She can't let that happen. She is thinking of just taking it and going overseas. At this point, Do-jun takes Hee-won by the hand. He notices that she is thinking frantically about something. She declared in a loud tone that she would take that envelope of money. Do-jun didn't understand what Hee-won was saying that at all. She added that she didn't mean it. He understands that Hee-won is very nervous. He asked her to calm down and stop worrying about his parents, since there is something more important. She is discouraged by these words and tensed slightly as he said it with a serious look. Hee-won wondered how many brothers and sisters Do-jun has and if there is anyone else besides Si-hyun's dad. He replied that at least we can say that there are only a few. At this point, Hee-won interrupted him and didn't understand Do-jun's phrase, which means at least. He said that he has more cousins. A lot of cousins. Hee-won understood from Do-jun's face that they apparently don't get along with each other. He replied that they didn't. Afterwards, he took a deep breath and asked Hee-won if she could run around now. She thought that was a strange question. Do-jun warned that it might not be necessary, but there was something she should know. With a grim look, he said that they might have to run, but she should not worry, but just trust and follow him. What do you mean run? Hee-won didn't expect that. He assured her that it's not something Hee-won needs to worry about, as he just doesn't want to run into one cumbersome problem. Hee-won doesn't understand what kind of nonsense Do-jun is saying at all. Hee-won feels like it's all about the possibility that Do-jun's parents might not like her. A few minutes later, they pull up to the gate of the house. He said that they had arrived, but Hee-won is all shaken up by this encounter. She asked for a few minutes because she lost her mirror somewhere. Do-jun said that Hee-won doesn't need any mirror because she's pretty as it is. She wondered if she really looked good. Do-jun reached out his hand to Hee-won's face. Afterwards, he kissed her on the cheek. He added that she didn't just look good, she looked flawless. You don't have to worry too much as he will be there for you. He asked, can they go now? She said, yes. And then they went into Do-jun's parents' house. They all sit together at the table. Do-jun's parents' faces are not the happiest. It feels like they're at a funeral. Why is everyone so sad? Do-jun's mother asked his father to stop taking out the pine nuts. His father replied that he didn't take them out. He just wanted to eat them later. Hee-won continues to be all shaky and very worried, but she still can't believe it's really the president and his wife.